What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Alexis Nicole with the Nurse Nook and I make videos all about nursing, lifestyle, and wellness. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be reviewing my first year in grad school. So I am currently a neonatal nurse practitioner student, or NNP student for short. And basically what that means is I'm working towards being a provider for neonates. The primary population of babies that I would work with are premature or are born with congenital anomalies. I'm currently a neonatal ICU nurse, so I work with NNPs all day long. So I get a very good picture of what I'm going to be doing in the long run. So up until this point, I basically have been taking all of the same classes as any other nurse practitioner would be taking in grad school. So basically that's all my Gen Ed classes. So I've taken nursing informatics, I've taken pathophysiology, I've taken pharmacology, I've taken research. I think that's it. A lot of them start to blur together, honestly, and it's hard to differentiate, but the two science courses that I've taken, which to me stand out the most, are patho and pharmacology. So you don't get into your specialized classes until pretty much like a year in. So I just finished my Gen Ed classes and I'm so excited to get into my NICU classes, y'all. I don't think you understand. I love learning about the NICU and neonates and everything baby related. Going through this program just reinforced that I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, because learning about a lot of geriatric and adult focused information, I'm taking it in, but it's kind of like a drag, to be honest. There's 1% of the information we learn that's related to NICU, and I always get so excited when we go over that info. I'm like, ooh, there's at least one thing that I can apply. But it really just reinforced that I really love the NICU, because I'm so excited to move on to my NICU classes and learn about baby specific stuff. It is getting me going. But my review of my first year, I can honestly say, and I'm gonna talk to you guys like you're one of my homegirls, I can honestly say that it is exactly what I expected. Mind you, I have not started clinicals yet, so I feel like that is the hardest part of grad school. I will start clinicals in spring of 2024. It's currently, I'm gonna be going into my fall 2023 semester now, but I will start clinicals not this following semester, but the one after that. But I feel like that is when things kind of kick it up a notch. So my experience right now is just straight classroom stuff. So like a lot of nurse practitioner programs out there, my program is majority online. All of the classroom learning that we do is online. All of our clinicals will be obviously in person, and all of our skills as well. So I do have some skill assessments next semester, and I will have to go to campus for that. So I think my first semester of grad school was very fair. It's really exactly what I expected it to be. I don't think it's extremely stressful, and I don't think it's extremely easy. It's about what I expected for a online grad school program. One of the hardest things about the program, in my opinion, is the motivation. You have to have a lot of self-motivation, because there is no classroom that you're going to be going to where your teacher is going to be reminding you to submit assignments and study for your exams. Literally, if you don't open your computer or check your email, it's like school doesn't exist until you open that and check it. So it's very easy to forget about it and not be disciplined, but you really have to have that self-motivation if you want to succeed in grad school. So for me, that's probably the toughest part, because going from working as a professional in a hospital setting and not being in school for the past 5 years, and then having to go back to being a student, it was kind of a hard transition for me, because I'm so used to doing things on my own time and learning when I feel like it. And if I want to read up on my job or neonates, whatever it is, I can do that on my free time. But going back to having assignments due weekly, tests to study for, projects to turn in, that was an adjustment, and it wasn't a fun adjustment. I still dragged my feet through it, but honestly, it was definitely very doable. I say that the program thus far has been very fair, because there has not been a time that I have had to sacrifice something in my life for school, meaning I still hang out with friends, I still have my dates with my fiance, I still go on trips. There has not been anything that's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that, but I can't because grad school. Mind you, I'm not doing anything crazy, I'm not going on trips every other month or doing anything crazy like that. But since I have started this program, I've done 2 abroad trips. I've gone to Italy and Greece one trip, and then I went to Bali another trip, and those were spread out over 2 semesters. But I did it, and I was successful at it thus far. I remember when I first started the program, one of our directors gave us the advice not to make any like huge life decisions, like not to take any big trips, not to buy a house, not to plan a wedding. And it's like, I'm literally doing everything that they said not to do. But God has been on my side thus far. It's definitely not the most ideal situation, but going back to grad school is not the end of your life, I promise you. As long as you have really good organization habits and you have the self-motivation, it definitely is something that is doable. Now, I say that now, but once clinicals start, I will probably change my tune up a little bit, because now I can kind of allocate time when I feel like it to study. If it's 9 p.m. and I want to study for 3 hours, I can do that. But once you start clinicals, you have allocated time that you have to be at your clinical sites. And once you add that to schoolwork and working, that I feel like is when things definitely turn up a notch. And I think that's when a lot of the sacrifices come in. Also, to be transparent, I work part-time, which is 2 12-hour shifts a week. So that allows me a lot of free time. I wouldn't say free time, but that just allows me a lot more flexibility in my schedule to allot for assignments and time studying. But not to forget, I also do YouTube on the side, which is like a part-time job. So I have to dedicate a day to making content a week. So yes, I work part-time in the hospital, but it's not like I'm not doing anything the other time, if that makes sense. But even with that, I still feel like it's very fair and very doable. A lot of people asking me how I balance working, YouTube, and being in grad school. And honestly, it has not been too difficult for me. I do what I like to call blocking my time. So I will dedicate a few hours to YouTube, and then I will dedicate a few hours to schoolwork. And then of course on days that I work, I dedicate those days to work. But that kind of leaves some structure in my day-to-day life so that I'm not just like constantly overwhelmed with everything I have to do. So for example, like from 9 to 11, it's like no matter what happens, I'm taking this time to dedicate to studying. Nothing else is pertinent to me right now. And then once that's done, it's like, okay, from noon to 2, I'm gonna film and edit my video. Nothing else matters during that time. And I feel like having some structure is key. Oh my gosh, even if you have other hobbies, if you have kids, whatever it is, having scheduled time for certain activities definitely is so much easier for you, because if you don't plan, then you plan to fail. I heard that like all throughout college, but it really is a thing, y'all. I feel like it takes a lot of the thought work and stress out of it when you are able to kind of provide some structure where there is none. And that's a lot of grad programs, especially online programs. There's not a ton of structure. So it's basically like, okay, here's the information that you need to know, and here's the date of your exam. Do with that what you will. And so there's not a lot of structure, and you have to find that structure yourself, and you have to make that structure for you if you want to be successful. But I'm making this video in hopes of encouraging people that it is not impossible to go back to school and to be able to be successful as a working professional. Currently in my program, majority of the nurses are working full-time, so it's definitely something that's very doable. And I think if it's something that you really want, it's absolutely something that is attainable for anybody. I don't regret my decision. If you talk to me on a week that I have exams, I'm probably like, oh my God, why did I do this to myself? But overall, I don't regret my decision at all. I'm so happy that I completed my first year. That's 3 semesters. I'm 3 semesters down. I have a year and a half to go. And then God willing, I will be a provider, which is crazy. It's honestly what I can say, like the best piece of advice I could give is take it one step at a time. Like don't look at the entire program and be like, oh my God, I have to complete 700 clinical hours by the end of this program. I have to complete 7.5 semesters. When you look at it big picture like that, it can be very overwhelming. So what I like to do is look at the next step ahead of me. So I'm not thinking about what I have to do for graduation. I'm thinking about what do I need to do for this next semester. And then once that's done, boom, I completed that, and now I can move on to the following semester. So taking bite-sized pieces out of your program and just being able to digest that without trying to think of everything you have to do, all the semesters you have to pay for, because it can be quite overwhelming. And then that's when you start running into, oh my God, can I do this? But you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Trust me and believe in yourself. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any other questions about grad school, please leave them down below. I do updates every single semester, and then I try to throw in videos about tips that I've learned along the way in my program. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video.